Insiders with Chuck Chvala and Scott Jensen, sponsored by the Wisconsin Counties Association.
Hi, I'm Scott Jensen, former Assembly Speaker.
And I'm Chuck Chvala, former Senate Majority Leader.
And we're the Insiders. And one of the talks at the Capitol at this point of the year is whether or not there'll be a deal cut on medical marijuana, either as a separate bill or as part of the state budget. More likely, I think, probably a separate bill. Chuck, do you think it's possible they'll get a deal this year?
You know, you would like to think so. 80% of the public support at least medical marijuana, way into the 60% that support recreational legal. This has, you know, there are 40 states that have some form. It's fully legal in Illinois, Michigan, Canada. Minnesota is close. Iowa's got something. I don't know what they have. But the bottom line is, this is so widely popular. It kind of fits the Republican playbook in the sense that it's kind of this personal freedom thing, but also it's a voluntary tax. We pick up revenue from it. You would think should be something where you can get together on a bipartisan basis, but I don't think they're going to make it happen. Voss has talked about it for the few years, but frankly, it's one of those throw aside things that I think basically to let people know that, okay, we'll take a look at it. Even a majority of Republicans want medicinal marijuana. And so I am a little bit surprised that they aren't more interested in doing it, but they're not going to do it. And I think this, along with some other issues, which will show that they're in the bad corner, will hurt them in next November's election. But I think that they have paid a little bit of a price in the past. In fact, Donald Trump came to Wisconsin and told Scott Walker, you would have won if you hadn't had that marijuana on the ballot. And I think that the problem for Republicans is that they are in this spot where they have constituencies like the religious right or the gun lobby or the abortion lobby, and they cannot get away from them. And these entities are so far away from the mainstream that it keeps them from doing things that have broad bipartisan support. So I actually agree with Scott, or think that Scott's question is whether it'll happen. I don't think it will, but should it? If I were them, I would let it happen.
I think there is not only growing support among the public, but growing support among Republican legislators to do something on medical marijuana. The trouble is really going to be the details here. I think there are Republicans who would be willing to support this if medical marijuana was like any other medicine that was prescribed by a doctor, in that you went and a doctor gave you a prescription, you went and got it at the pharmacy or something like a pharmacy. I think their worries are these like storefronts all over the state suddenly selling things and people having wide access to it, particularly with all the problems that have been pointed out with teen health, mental health in particular. There's a good deal of science right now that suggests that this is a problem for brain development among teenagers and people in their young 20s, and that it also has created all sorts of mental health problems in a population that right now is dealing with extraordinary mental health problems coming out of COVID. So I think there's sympathy for it. I think the details, trying to get everyone on the same page of exactly how we do this, even though 40 other states have done it, you would think the details would be easy to work out. But I don't think they're close enough yet to working out those deals. And then there's, people like me who, with some sense of irony, wonder like, okay, so smoking tobacco is bad, vaping is bad. Smoking marijuana, that'd be fine if it was for medical purposes. I mean, I'm not grasping that whole thing there in my head. And I think
Scott,
there's still a lot of us old-fashioned folks out there who are like going, how could one be good and the other one be bad? But we'll see. I just don't think they're going to get it done this year.
There's a big difference. Vaping and smoking cigarettes are still legal, and marijuana is not. It does not fit with the personal freedom thing that the Republicans like to say, except that it doesn't apply to when we're talking about women's bodies and some other important areas. The problem here is you have the reason you get such high numbers. PTSD for veterans, huge problem. Huge relief, we understand. And this is why they're hearing friends are doing this.
Oh, yeah.
And they're
people
getting
who
relief.
have cancer and can't keep down their medicines. Yeah,
Exactly.
I
exactly.
agree that people have
and then
enough
old people who have
personal
pain
interaction that their support has grown high enough that the legislature is going to try to struggle to figure out how to do this. I just don't think they're going to figure out an answer that they can get a majority in both houses.
They probably won't, but they should. And that's why 80% of the people support it. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to The Insiders with Chuck Chvala and Scott Jensen, sponsored by the Wisconsin Counties Association